Ladies and gents, good evening. Thanks to the organizers. I'm the last speaker. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. Thanks to Swiss Air. I hope my voice lasts until the end of this presentation. Our history very much it's probably well known by now, and I'm not going to spend too much time of my 8 minutes to describe to you guys what happened, but we did sell some assets to some of my other colleagues around the table, some good assets that they admitted, so I'm glad to hear that. We've got a footprint that's predominantly in South Africa from an operations perspective. We also, through our investments in Tronox, a listed vehicle in the US, also a footprint in the US, a small plant in the Netherlands, operations in Australia, and then through a 50-50 joint venture with Anglo, we also have a big coal deposit, hard coking coal deposit in Australia. We buy via China, so we've got a small woofie, for those guys familiar with the concept, office in China to do some imports of equipment, which we do believe will change and is changing the mining industry currently from a cost perspective. And then our 4 million tons of export coal is basically marketed through our Zug office. Predominantly from an operation perspective on the coal side, we sell about 36 million tons of coal to Eskom, of which 18 million is under commercial contractual agreements, and 18 million on a cost-plus basis. We then sell about 4 million tons to the local market, and currently about 4 million tons to the export market. We will increase that, we will double that, in fact, hopefully over the next few days when our Section 11, which is the only outstanding item to be approved on Total Coal South Africa, will be approved, and we will then add another 4 million tons of export allocation to our operations. On the ferrous side, we had or have a project. We started off with a big bang a few years ago in the ROC. We are securing the mineral right. It is a fantastic deposit, but I think it will be brave for any player these days to bring out a new iron ore product or project in the existing industry. So we are tapering our efforts, and we believe that over the next few years that will be developed, and in the interim we need to secure our mineral right, and that's basically the strategy around our ferrous business. On energy, we believe that energy is going to be a crucial element of being in South Africa in the future. And having the coal, having the Waterberg, which is one of our big developments, we think we should play, as one of the major players in South Africa, we should play a role in energy. Do I state by that we will get involved in power stations tomorrow? I don't know yet, but it is something that, as one of the black economic empowerment players in South Africa, 50% plus controlled BEE, that we do believe with the new legislation of 50% local, 30% BEE, that we can and we will play a significant role going forward, but it is early days. Needless to say, our 20% investment in Kumba's SIOC is one of the main contributors towards our bottom line. It has been for many, many years. But unfortunately, with the realities of iron ore, I think that's going to go down a bit, and probably the coal will play a much more strategic part of our headline earnings per share going forward. The other element is our 44% investment in Tronox. It has not been the best of the last 2 years, but you know, the beauty of cycles is that, and being diversified, is that sometimes when iron ore is down, coal is down, you find yourself in a space where TiO2 and mineral sands is not that down. In fact, they are picking up, and we are seeing the prices increasing. So that's part of the footprint, and we do foresee that Tronox will probably play a significant part of our headline earnings per share going forward. And then we have some investments particularly as a result of our black empowerment in some of the other assets. I won't bore you in my 8 minutes on the strategy. You can go and look at that in your own 8 minutes. And I'll rather focus on what I see are the important items for probably Exxaro, and probably most of you guys around the table, for the industry this year. Guys, we have to be realistic. Black economic empowerment is here to stay. And I think it's imperative for us as a mining industry to find the ways of dealing with it. And for Exxaro, our structure comes to an end. After 10 years, we're in year 9. It comes to an end of 2016. So we are working on a daily basis to ensure that we continue with a 50% plus BEE structure on 2016 onwards. The detail of that, obviously, we will work out, but that's the imperative from which we build ourselves going forward. The Waterberg is a fantastic coal reserve, as most of you guys would know. We believe that whether it's IPP 1 or whether it's coal 2 or coal 3 or coal 4, whatever the next development in the energy space will be, it will come from the Waterberg. And we think we are well positioned to gain from that. I spoke about our coal exports increase, and I spoke about the Mayoko project. I think an important item in our lives over the next few months is the end of June this year. The 3-year standstill period comes to an end, whereby we were capped at 44% investment into Tronox. We and the board management will have to sit together and think carefully what's the right decision going forward. The obvious choices: you sell, you increase your stake to a majority, or you keep it as is. And that's something that we will work on very hard over the next few weeks and months. The last 4 items, really just what I think every mining company should be doing and is doing currently in the realities of what we face in the economical cycle. We are sweating our assets, we are cutting costs, we have to get productivity improvement. We all voted, you know, for the 1 bar and the instability that it may create in our markets. Our people going forward, we have to find solutions to do it differently going forward. But productivity improvement for us as South Africans is critical, and that's something that we have to spend a lot of time on. So with the right capital allocation, in the end of the day, we are here to give sustainable returns to our shareholders, and I think that's what management teams needs to do every day in order to just make sure that we attract capital and that we keep South Africa alive in this very difficult time. So thank you very much for listening to me.